Welcome back, everybody, to London's Pretty Cool podcast. We are here on episode 2 of our season 2 with none other than Craig Gignac. I'm going to try and pronounce it as best as possible, but that probably wasn't correct. We got to talk to him all about his music, what he's been doing during quarantine, starting a new podcast, or joining a podcast and adding his own element with isolation tapes, the We Should Jam Sometime podcast, and much more.
Yeah, we had a really great time talking to him. He's been doing so much within the London music scene for many years, living at the Foam Dome and just being in incredible bands like the Heart Attack Kids and his own projects and solo stuff. And we're excited to talk to him today. So as you'll see, we've got lots of great stories about living at a music venue and a really great time just recatching up as old friends. So let's get into it. What do you say, Erin?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the London's Pretty Cool podcast, everybody. We are sitting down with a fantastic guest. I'm your host, Patrick Briggs. We also have our other co-host.
Hi, it's Erin. And we are here. Go ahead.
We're here. No, Erin, we're just so excited. We're talking over each other here. We're so excited because this is an old buddy of mine, an old roommate, a fellow domer, a fellow foam domer. Now he runs his own podcast. He's part of multiple incredible bands in the city, is an amazing musician, and you see him performing live all the time on Instagram Live. We're here sitting down with Craig Gignac. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
You know, this is a long time coming. Craig has been, like I said, a major player in the London music scene for quite a few years now, and it's just good to have you. Good to have you back, buddy. It's nice to see you too. I feel like we're not hanging out enough.
It's been a very long time. Yeah, I mean, the last time I saw you probably would have been here when you were doing a rehearsal in the kitchen.
Yeah, something like that. I missed Craigsmas this year, so it probably would have been rehearsing for a mall crime show or something.
Yeah, I missed Briggsmas, so it's really unfortunate. Like, we got to have, like, the tandem.
We'll have to combine them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to it.
Craig. Something miss. Anyways, it's going to be a very good time, either way.
100%.
Now,
We're
Craig,
bring in the year.
Craig, you're doing so much cool stuff these days. We actually, I've been wanting to just catch up and talk to you about all this stuff just myself, so it's so great to have you on the podcast and talk to you about it. You have recently, actually, before we get into what you're doing recently, why don't we talk a little bit about who you are, talk a little bit about yourself. Can you give a bit of an intro to you, Craig?
Give a little Sparks Notes version of me? Yeah, sure. So yeah, my name's Craig Gignac. I've been born and raised here in London. I started playing in bands when I was in high school. I started playing music when I was in public school, but I mean, I was, infamous 4-chord strummer for like 5 years of that, right? And then finally started my first band in high school, and I've just kind of, climbed through the ranks, been a part of like a billion different bands throughout. And now I live here at the Dome, which I mean I married into with you, which was great.
Great marriage. It's been very
fantastic,
fruitful.
Very fruitful, and that was great. And I've kind of gone through a bunch of bands and through a bunch of projects, and now I'm doing the podcast with Caleb, which I also married into, which was fantastic. So it's been a lot of different experiences and a lot of just kind of meeting great people along the way. But I'm just another one of those music guys here in London.
You're saying you've got a crazy journey, Craig. I remember looking at old photos of you when you've always been known to be this incredible guitar player, and it's so funny to watch these old videos of you just to see how you've always been an incredible guitar player.
Thank you for saying that.
Now, that's been recognized because you recently joined, you were talking about all these great bands that you're in, but you recently joined a pretty big one here in London, the Heart Attack Kids.
I'm the new Heart Attack Kid on the block. I'm the new Heart Attack Kid, yeah. Well, I've known Jared for a really long time. We crossed paths when would it have been? It would have been when we were in high school, but we went to different high schools. Heart Attack Kids were... I remember actually when Jared was in 8-Bit Ghost. I don't know if you remember that band. That was like the first one.
I never saw that.
Oh, yeah. I believe it was Nate and Jared were both in that band, and they were infants at the time. and I had started what would become Radio Caroline, but we were called Dead Rock at the time. And we were just like a couple of baby bands. Yeah, and then Heart Attack Kids became a thing, and I remember meeting Jared for the first time at the APK. And I think it was the Mother's Day show at APK, and it was Heart Attack Kids. I think Kingpin played, and Fossil. I believe, I might be making parts of that up, but it was definitely Mother's Day at APK, and I saw Heart Attack Kids for the first time, and then there were a couple times where Jared messaged me and said, like, hey, Radio Caroline and Heart Attack Kids should play a show together, and it's like, well, the band broke up, or, or like whatever. There's just the thing after, the high school bands, right? And yeah, we never wound up playing a show together, but then we wound up, we'd run into each other at venues and at shows or whatever. And then what really happened to instigate this whole thing was Heart Attack Kids were putting out Bad Luck Like Gold last year in April. And Jared messaged me about doing a show here at the Dome. And I had started my project with Liam called DIY Orchestra. And he said...
All great bands, great records, by the way.
Thank you. And he said, yeah, I really want to do the Heart Attack Kids record release show, like the secret release show at the Dome. And I went, for sure. Like, who all do you want on the bill? And he said, well, it's going to be us and Wine Lips. And I was just like, I've got this band DIY Orchestra that could open. And he was like, okay, for sure. And like we are. Liam's off in New Zealand right now, just traveling abroad, which is a strange time to be traveling, I must add. But so I just said let's have my band do the opening slot, and Jared saw us as a two-piece open the Heart Attack Kids show, and he said like, yeah, I'd love to come tech for any recordings that you guys do in the future. And I said sure. And then Jared came over, and we were working on, he's a total gear nerd like me. And he was twisting knobs and all the amps and helping me record the DIY single. And then it was about a month after he helped me tech it and stuff. And I think we grabbed beers together once in between that too. But then he messaged me and he said, hey, would you want to jam sometime? And I said, sure. Which, you never really think much of it. It's kind of the running joke on our podcast is like, we should jam sometime. It's just like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. So he came over and we jammed, and then I didn't think anything of it. And then he messaged me again. He said, hey, we should jam again. I was like, yeah, for sure, man, sounds good. And he went, no, but like, you should play bass for Heart Attack Kids. And I went, oh, yeah, for sure. And then he came over and we actually made it official, and I was in the band all of a sudden, which was great. So,
it's a long time coming too. They, like you said, they've been a band for a long time. I was lucky enough with Foam to play their very first show at an afternoon gig at Call the Office.
Nice.
It was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. There was nobody there, and I remember Nathan didn't have his long locks yet. He had this like really short little fro,
and a crew cut almost, right, or something like that.
It was very funny looking, and I was just like, I thought these guys had a lot of energy. I was just like, they look young, And then they played a show at another local venue called Satan's Cove for Radish Fest. And I remember they released this live recording of that show, and I was there, and it was just, I remember watching that and being like, these guys are quickly becoming like a big thing here in the city, because this like basement is just packed, and everybody's moving like crazy, and so from there too, Erin and I talked about it in our first episode for this new season when I've grabbed a couple records. I've got it right here. grabbed a couple records that we really love in our local choices, and I grabbed out the Heart Attack Kids debut
Nice.
record because I was like, they got signed to Underground Operations, which for a band that I, was playing in the same scene with, I thought that was so cool that they had gotten signed to a real label and everything. That one that wasn't just in our city or in our community or something, but one that has actually released some pretty big releases in the past. So they go on tour. They tour that for a little while. They record this new record. Bad Luck Like Gold, which is no offense to their first album, leaps and bounds ahead, I would say, for sure. Just like a really solid album. And if anything, when I listen to it, it's so funny. The only thing that I would ever say was like, you know what? I think it just needs a bass. I think if anything, it just needs.
I remember saying that same thing out loud when I listened to it. I went, this would be
funny.
killer.
It's so funny that now, and like we were saying, one of the best guitarists, if not the best in the city, and you've taken the time to establish yourself as this incredible bassist too, in these bands. So I don't know, it just seems like a match made in heaven because you and Jared are also like big rock and roll guys, big gearheads. Just seems like a perfect match. Definitely,
and yeah, as soon as we had that first jam, he was playing some riffs for me, and I went, these sound great. They were like fresh off of Bad Luck Like Gold, and he comes in, and he's like, yeah, these are the songs that we didn't do, and I'm like, these are awesome. And I went like, can I just show you like one quick little thing? And I was like showing him Ace Frehley licks, and he was like, these are sick, man. Like I gotta do like, and I went like, yeah, well, I mean, like if you have a bass back there, then you can like play guitar solos. And he went like, oh man, that's sick, like that's my best Jared impersonation, by the way.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Man.
Oh man. Oh, dude, that's wild.
He really has one of those like California dude kind of voices,
Definitely, he's definitely got a surfer side to him.
Bod, that's crazy, dude. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but Jared, love that guy. And all power to all of the future. You guys are going to be making such like incredible recordings together. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited too. We actually just before all of this madness in the world started up with the lockdowns and all that, we managed to hit the studio, and we actually have a couple songs in the bank. There's no dates yet. I mean, since the whole world seems to be on pause for when that's going to come out, but we have music ready to go, and it's sounding great. I mean, that was our first studio experience ever. We had only just played our first couple shows together, like the previous 3 days. So and I mean, that was great, and we've been jamming ever since, and now we've been sending each other demos and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it's only been getting better. So I'm really excited to play live, to really play live together. Play like a 7-day succession. It'll really help us unleash it.
You've only played like 2 shows together now, right? 2 or 3?
Yeah, we did 3 because we played Newmarket just before Halloween, and we had Mark Swan on the drums, which was great.
Sweet.
So much fun. We were all painted up as skeleton face kind of deal, which was hilarious because by the end of it, we were all just like, our faces were just like bleeding, like melting off of our faces. It just looked even scarier. And then yeah, we did Windsor and London, and then as soon as we were done the London show, the next day we wound up driving out to Beach Road, and we recorded a couple songs out there.
Beach Road looked like quite the studio. All the instruments on the wall. Oh my gosh,
beautiful.
It's a dream.
It's beautiful, and Siegfried's hilarious. Like he's so easy to work with. I mean, like if you have the most intricate weirdo idea, you're like, hey, Sig, do you think we could maybe try this? He goes, oh yeah, no problem, and he'll have like the weirdest thing set up for you in minutes. It's not like, oh, where's this thing, or like it's such an organized studio. The guy knows exactly where everything is, what he's doing. Like in a second, you're initiating that idea, and it's amazing.
And so the songs that you've recorded, that was with Lore Sangster, who's living
Yes.
out in the East Coast.
Yep.
What's it like doing band practice with like this whole? Because not only were you guys doing it at a distance before with the Halifax, but now with coronavirus, what's practice been like?
So it hasn't really been practice. So before, what we would be doing, Jared and I would get together at we have a space at the storage units like a million other bands here, and we would get together there, and we'd put on a click, and we would jam just strings, and like, I'll be completely honest with you, it sucks. I hated doing it so much because I mean there's such a huge difference in energy. And you know, like when you finish the song, you get that big crash or whatever, you get the big thud of the drums, you feel it more, right? But I mean, it's like it's so much more of a chore when you're just playing to like beep boop 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 beep boop. You know, it's like there's so little emotion behind it. But Laura would send us demos, right, of her playing the drums, and but now with the whole coronavirus thing. I mean, like, yeah, I'll run through the songs every now and again, but mostly we've just been sending each other demos, which mostly entails Jared sending us riffs, right? And then we kind of work on them on our own, and we send back ideas and that kind of thing. But like right now, especially with on the lockdown and we're all at our own houses, I mean, I have everything at my disposal here, which is great. Laura's like I like her drum situation's a bit strange because I mean she was living in an apartment and now she's over at a farm property, so it's strange to kind of find the time, I guess. But I mean, yeah, we're all sending each other stuff, and then Jared's, God bless that guy, because he's just sending off riffs like crazy. It's insane. He's like, "Hey, here's a riff," and I'm like, "I'm at work right now, man. Like, I can't," you know, like. But it's great. I mean, the work ethic's incredible with that guy. He's constantly either coming up with ideas for guitar stuff, or he's like, "Hey, we gotta chat about this. Let's get this going. Like, we'll do a group call in 20 minutes." And I'm like, "I'm on lunch right now. Maybe we'll do it in like a couple hours," you know.
Well, you've been working like nights, I think, too, right? So it's tough to get the practice together and everything.
I've been working, yeah, it's shift work, so it's 12 hours at a time, right? And I was on nights for a while there, and it was like I was on nights right when this whole thing kind of started, because it was like, okay, well, we can't get together to practice. I said, well, okay, if I don't have the band schedule to cater to, then I'll just work whatever shift they need me on. But for the longest time, I was saying I can't work nights, because as soon as I'm done this 12-hour shift, I'm gonna get home, eat a granola bar, and go to band practice, you know. And it's just it's mental to do that. But I mean, the way I always looked at it was like, if you work a 12-hour shift and then you go home, you shower, you eat, and you go to bed, you didn't do anything but work all day.
Yeah.
But if you go home and you just like you don't sit down yet, and you just kind of eat something quick and then go do music stuff, or you go to a show or whatever, you're making the most of your time until you go completely crazy. So I mean,
yeah, and then there's a severe lack of sleep.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off at times, I have to say.
The trade-off of sleep and music, or just being productive, I struggle with that so often. Just like, do I go to bed right now because I'm tired, or do I wake up tomorrow and be like, you didn't do anything at all yesterday? You know, like,
and I have to say I'm more miserable when I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I literally just worked for 12 hours and it like wasn't a good day at work either, and then I just passed out. Now I got to do it again. You know, it's like I'd rather have like a not great day at work, go home, and then it's like, yeah, I jammed out some stuff, and like we wrote a song, and I went home and I watched Taxi Driver, and it was sick, and then I went to bed, and now I get to go to work again. So
exactly, you know, and you can listen to the stuff that you were working on the next day, all day long, being like, oh, how do I work on this? How do I figure this out? So it's always fun to stay productive.
Definitely.
It's a good example of a work-life balance.
Yeah, and it's definitely uneven. You know, I mean, if you spend 12 hours at work, it's so hard to, but I mean, if you keep doing it every day and then you spend your entire weekend trying to do the music thing, it kind of weighs out, it kind of balances out. But I mean, it's just a struggle of the 12-hour workday. But I definitely enjoy the 3-day weekend more than, that's the winner at the end of the day.
Are you the only one living at the Dome right now? Like during the whole break right now?
Yeah, I'm the only one that's living here full time. Drew still is here using it as a workspace. So I'm not completely alone here, which is nice. But I mean, I also work, right? So I mean, I see all my coworkers all the time. But yeah, Bob is staying with his partner, and Evan's been staying over at his parents' place. And they've popped in once or twice, and it's always a very pleasant surprise. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in like a month. How's it going? What's going on? But yeah, I'm the only one that's living here full time, and I've been fully taking advantage of it. It's been nice.
Yeah. I like to watch your live streams, and I love this most recent setup because you've learned how to. Well, I shouldn't say you've brought in a piano, a thing that the Dome has needed since its inception.
100%.
And is like I'm just so glad that you are the one who brought it in, because you got the rock and roll soul, you got the blues soul, and you'll bring that through with the piano. And you were able to I'm pretty sure how you, just for your last stream the other day, you probably had it set up in the house in a way where you're like, all right, cool, I'm glad no one's here because I can just use this entire living room area to make this work perfect for me,
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So we were actually recording the piano earlier in the day because I've been working on a solo song, and it was a guitar song at first. It was like an acoustic guitar song, and we were putting all the parts on it, and then eventually we got the piano. I got the piano a month ago. I've been saying 4 weeks, and I think that's accurate. But I got the piano in here, and then I've been learning on it. And I think within 3 days, I was like, I should learn how to play this song on piano, and we should do piano on the song too.
Yeah.
And I tried to do it. I was learning the part, and I said, go get the tape machine, because we were gonna record it with tape. And then it took me about 5 times to get through it with splitting one chord shape into 2 hands, just completely cheating. And I went, it sounds okay, but give me another couple weeks and then I'll learn the song with 2 hands, or the best I can. And then it just so happened to be, on the weekend I said, okay, let's try to record piano, and then as soon as it's done, since we'll have the piano in the middle of the room, I'll do a live stream and I'll see if I can get through a few songs. So we moved where a drum kit would be, and then even more forward in like the kitchen kind of living space area. We had the piano there. We completely opened up the top, and we were recording. And then as soon as Drew hit stop on the recording, I started setting up my microphones and my computer and everything for the live stream, because I started the stream about 2 hours after. And I was like, oh yeah, I've only played my song for the past 4 hours now. I should probably practice the other songs that I've really only practiced for a few days now too. But no, it was good. I thought it turned out okay. I mean, for 4 weeks of playing, it didn't sound half bad, I have to say.
No, it turned out great, and you look great too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I had to put on the piano player vibe. I literally, as soon as you put on a blazer, you are a piano player.
You slick back the hair a little bit, have a coif hanging down.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Honestly, I've had that question a few times now. Not that you really asked, but the single curl thing, I swear that naturally occurs. I have to go out of my way to not have curls hanging down. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
What a life. Oh, what a tough.
Yeah. What a struggle.
It just comes naturally.
What a struggle. Yeah. Yeah. I'm constantly battling dreamy hair.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Every time someone takes a photo, it looks like I'm a city slicker from the 50s. I should be hanging with Travolta's crew in Greece or something. Oh no. But Craig, what kind of inspired you, other than the general idea of quarantining and I need to sort of stay productive and proactive as a musician and stuff? Well, how come you started, like, you're the one in London, I would say, who has stayed the most active on this live stream show thing? Because initially when quarantine started, yeah, everybody was jumping on the, oh, like, let's do a show for everybody, live stream, live stream, live stream.
Right.
But, like, it really has died off for sure. And it's nice to see that you're still here, still giving entertainment to everybody who knows that you're going to give it to them. So what kind of inspired you to start and then keep going?
Yeah, well, when I first did it, because I mean, the first day where I don't even think the borders had closed yet, but Lost Arts were playing a show at Call the Office, because I remember the conversation with Caleb, and it was before I even started doing the podcast with him. Lost Arts were playing a show that night, and everyone was being advised to stay inside. And Caleb was saying, Craig, man, you got, like, please come to the show, right? Like, same with any, like, I mean, if we were playing a show and it was a Tuesday night and we were opening, you know, you'd be asking your friends, please come out, you know, like, just so we have some people here. And I said, man, like, literally the news is telling everyone to not go anywhere, let alone go to a show, right? And I said, you should live stream the show. And he said, well, who's going to hold the camera or whatever? And I said, yeah, but I mean, everyone's going to start doing it. I bet you any money, everyone's going to start live streaming their shows or whatever. And that was when I first had the thought. It came to mind. And the next day, you know, everyone started playing acoustic guitars on live. But I didn't start doing it until about 2 weeks after it had started. But the reason that I started doing them was because as soon as quarantine started, I actually took like a week and a half off work. The factory didn't shut down, but they said you have the option to take a layoff or to like take a week off if you're freaked out, and then you can come back if you want. So I took the optional week off, and I was like, you know, I'll write a bunch and I'll do this and I'll do that. And I very quickly found out that if I don't have a routine, I don't do anything. I was just sitting in bed all day. Wasn't doing anything, was feeling absolutely miserable just because I wasn't doing anything, which not that you need to be productive, but I mean, I'm so used to, you know, like I said, you work a 12-hour shift, you don't even get off your feet, and then you go do a band practice, and then you come home, and then you do the shit. I'm so used to being so active that when on the 4th day of genuinely sitting in bed watching Mojo countdowns on YouTube, I said, I need to be doing something right now. So then I hadn't even prepared anything, and I just said, I'm going to do a live stream 8 p.m. Friday night. You're going to tune in, you know, and then as soon as I hit enter on Facebook, I went like, what have I done? Because all of a sudden I had to prepare for this thing. And but it gave me something to be working towards and to like, okay, I better go look up some songs to play on Friday, you know, and it gave me something to do. And then I went back to work, but I mean, once I was getting off of work, I couldn't go practice, or there was no gig to prepare for, so I went, well, I better keep doing this live stream, or I'm going to get home from work, and I'm just going to go to sleep and wake up and have to go back to work again, you know? So I did it for me, really, at first, so I had a routine again. But then I was getting sick, because everyone's been kind of slowly fading off of doing them, which only makes sense, you know? And I was honestly getting quite sick of them too. I even mentioned it in my podcast that just I was pretty over it, because I felt like I was playing the same songs over and over again, and so I skipped out on a week, and immediately, like that Friday at like 9 o'clock, I just got like a floodgate of messages, and it was like, "Are you not doing a live stream tonight?" And I was like, "Oh man, there's people that are expecting me to watch it. Not that they're like, you know, they're going to hurl themselves off of a building because they didn't get to see me play the show or whatever. But, I mean, they were like, oh, you're not going to play? You know, like, because, I mean, and then I thought about it some more, and it's like there's so many people that have nothing better to do. They're just sitting at home, you know, they can't go to work, they can't do anything. So then when I'm like, hey, I'm going to be playing a live stream every Friday, and then I don't do it all of a sudden, they were missing out on it. So then I decided, at this point I was already playing the piano or trying to play piano. And I said, well, I mean, if I'm sick of how boring this is getting to me, I better change it up. So then I did the exact same thing. I said, hey, so I bought this piano 4 weeks ago, but I'm going to play a bunch of songs. And I hit enter, and I went, what have I done? Suddenly I had to learn at least 5 songs on the piano for my Friday night live stream. Well, I guess it was a Saturday live stream. I gave myself an extra day. But,
That's still cool, man. Like it's like you said, you've got to be able to have something to work towards, something, a goal, a goal-minded lifestyle, you know, because otherwise you're just kind of floating along.
Yeah, and like I said, I did it for me at first because I'm definitely a creature of habit where I need a routine, or I don't know what to do with my hands, you know? It's like, what am I doing?
Living in the Dome is quite the experience, but it has during this quarantine time, it's kind of afforded you an option to start maybe, like you were saying, you've married into something else, so now you're in a podcast. We should jam sometime. What's your partner's name in that?
Caleb Thompson is his name, and he's the vocalist for the band Lost Arts here in London as well.
Fantastic. He started this how long ago, this podcast?
It would have been at least 2 years ago now.
Wow.
I know he started it while he was attending MIA, and he was interviewing bands all the time. And I mean, if you go through the back catalog, you know, he interviewed Crownlands, he talked to Reddy the Prince, he's talked to, you know, the guys in Basic White. There's one of me with the crazy mop hair, you know, talking about, you know, playing with Legal Kill and Basic White and stuff. So I mean, he's been doing it for quite some time, and that was all under the We Should Jam Sometime thing. And then he brought me in with this Isolation Tape series, and it's been a ton of fun.
So for people who don't know, I was going to say, what is Isolation Tapes, and what do you guys talk about?
So how it kind of started was, I mean, I've always been a fan of the podcast that he was doing, where he would just be interviewing the bands, and Caleb and I talk all the time. We have, you know, we keep referring to them as kitchen table parties on the podcast, where I'll go over to his place and we all gather around the kitchen table and we drink until we can't leave the kitchen table anymore. We would talk all the time, and like, you know, we would get together with those, and then, you know, every now and again we would get on the phone, and, you know, like schoolgirls, we'd be on the phone for an hour and a half, and then you're like, oh my god, it's 9 p.m. and we haven't gotten off the phone yet.
You hang up. No, you hang up.
Yeah, exactly. So what you thinking about? So it was right into quarantine starting, and I forget. I think I saw something stupid on the internet, or we were laughing about something, or I sent him some stupid joke, and I called him, and I was already just cackling in laughter, you know, like on the phone. And we just started shooting the shit, and it was just one of those hour-long conversations on the phone, and I forget how it came up, but I remember saying, like, why didn't we record all of that? I thought that was a hilarious conversation. He went, I thought about that like 3 times this whole time, and I went, well, you know what? I'm gonna go eat something, or, you know, do whatever. Call me back at 9, and we'll do another one. Why not? We'll just shoot the shit. And he went, yeah, that sounds great, you know, and I think I had literally just bought my first microphone, and I bought a camcorder, and because, I mean, quarantine had just started, and I was having a panic about, you know, if you can't play shows, I was like, I'm going to be a YouTuber.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I just bought all the stuff, and then I said, yeah, let's try a podcast where we're both at our own houses. And so we just called each other up on the phone, and we, you know, very similar to this, we shot the shit, and then we said, you know, why don't we get Nick on the show next time? And yeah, sure, why not? And it just kind of rolled from there. And our podcast is it's different than some, I'd say. I mean, like, I'm really actually not a very avid listener of podcasts. I listen to this podcast quite a bit.
Shouts
to this very podcast.
This very podcast.
You know, I'm very basic with the podcasting. Like, I'll check out Joe Rogan, and Chris D'Elia is hilarious, and I'm very much a comedian podcast guy. Yeah, it's the furthest thing from like an interview podcast, right? Where we get kind of friends of ours that are musicians from around town, and then like we'll talk about, you know, stuff that they've been putting out, or like, so what have you been up to in quarantine or whatever. But I mean, Like, we had this long-running gag on the show where it was like, all right, so everyone in your band, who's going to survive the zombie apocalypse? Let's go.
Yeah.
Or, like, just, like, stupid stuff like that. By the way, Bob thinks that Nathan's going to cannibalize all of us if we were to be stuck in a zombie apocalypse all together at the Dome.
Oh, it would. Oh, wow. That's a. Yeah, he would do terrible things to us. Yeah.
he thought that you and I think it was me and Nathan would go out scavenging for supplies. You and Evan would be holding down the fort, and then Bob would be cowered in the corner in the waiting for the apocalypse to be over.
I could see that. Me and Evan are just like, no, we need to build up our barricades here. No, we need to build this. And you guys are going like, well, we're fucking hungry. Like, let's go eat. Like, let's go hunt.
I've got a couple hockey sticks in the shed.
Yeah, let's go hunt, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bob's just like, we're screwed, man. We're screwed. We're like, Bob, just go sit down. Just go sit down, man. We got this. Yeah. I can see that, and then Nathan comes back by himself, and he's just like, "Yeah, they killed Craig.
I don't know
those
where
animals.
Craig went.
Those animals. They took his body too. It was crazy. Anyways, I got all this meat. All right, let's.
By the way, I also hunted an elk. But our podcast. I mean, and with. When it was We Should Jam Sometime with just Caleb, it was an interview show, really. And then I kind of came into the picture and I screwed it all up. But it's been much more of like a relaxed, like we just kind of chat and have a good time, and we still do kind of ask our guests questions and stuff. But everyone that we have on the show are like really good friends of ours, and yeah, we talk about stupid stuff like, yeah, what did you watch on Netflix last, and stupid stuff like that. So it's been tons of fun. But Caleb and I just recently started doing one-on-ones again, and we've been picking topics like we just recently heard about the idea of drive-in concerts. So we were talking about that. And,
I saw something like that. That looks ridiculous.
Yeah. We had this bit that we were doing because, I mean, we're really good at riffing off of each other, at least I think. And it was like, if we do a drive-in concert and Nick shreds a guitar solo, like people go wild after the guitar solo, are they going to start like flashing their high beams at me? Or, like,
honking their horns?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I'm going to like kind of lose it if that happens, like
Stop!
Can I get less car horn in the monitor, please?
I can imagine just like people are that normally that's that guy yelling behind you like, yeah, but now it's just like his horn. You're going like, I can't handle this. I can't handle that.
It would drive me crazy. My conclusion with the drive-in concert, just to weigh in on that really quick, I feel like I'd be really down to play one, but I don't think I'd even really want to attend one. I feel like it just...
Oh,
no,
can you imagine trying to leave that?
Oh, God, it'd be a nightmare.
And you would hardly be able to hear anything. It's
right. I mean, you may as well just live stream it.
Exactly.
Like, you're gonna have to dial it in on your radio.
And you're like looking underneath. Like,
right. It's
to make sure you can see that far.
Absolute pain.
Is this like how would they set this up? Like they'd have to space out the cars enough too, and
I think you would basically need to take out drive-in theaters. That's how
Yeah.
you would have to do it. Drive-in theaters, but you'd need to build a stage, or you'd have to find like a million Yasgur's farms, and let a bunch of farmers that are down for you to tear up this field with your car.
Yeah.
I could see that happening at I think concerts in general could happen at the drive-in theater. Just like make it so that you don't have to like everybody parks at the back, but there's so much room. You could easily have a concert there. Where I just wanted a random fact. Me and my partner Joe were on a bike ride today. We rode by the Guy Lombardo museum, but basically it's only accessible on a bike path here in London, and it's this. It looks like something straight out of Red Dead Redemption, almost but it's got a stage and sort of like a pavilion set up and everything. It used to be an old Guy Lombardo sort of stage or whatever, and I look at it and I go, this is incredible. As I do with everything in London, I go, oh my God, like what,
Wow.
like wow, we should put a venue here. We should put shows here. I like everything I look at in London. I'm like, oh, we could make a show here. But like that place for sure. When this COVID ends, if you're on a bike ride, people go ride along Wonderland, and you'll see it. It's just amazing. But yeah, that was a great little side note. Craig, before we head on into the London stuff, Erin, did you have any final questions before we do some London questions, some this or that?
Just Craig, if you have anything else you want to kind of promo, let everyone know what you're doing next coming up.
Yeah, so I've been, since quarantine's kind of happened, and Jared and I have just been kind of sending each other demos and stuff. Aside from that, I mean, I play with Serena Haggerty as well. I typically play bass for her. Sometimes I play guitar with her. We play a ton of gigs, but I mean, since this whole thing's been going on, I haven't had a lot to do. So I started trying to work on my solo music again, which it's been a long time since I've done that. But I have a new song coming out. The date is TBA, but I've got a new song coming out. I've been working on it here. Everything's been recorded by myself, engineered by my friend Drew Longrig here at the Dome. Fantastic engineer and producer. And additional stuff, Mark Swan did all the percussion on it, so you know that's going to be good. And I actually have a cello on the song, which is great.
Wow.
I'm very excited to be doing that. By a young lady named Jillian. I'm going to brutally mispronounce her last name. I think it's Sertig, I believe. I'm definitely saying it wrong. An incredible cello player as well, so I'm very excited about how the track's sounding so far, but look out for that. I hate to do stay tuned posts. We had a whole podcast episode about that, how I hate stay tuned posts, but unfortunately stay tuned for a new single of mine.
At least you don't have like bandmates that you're going to be like, all right, stay tuned, guys, and then your next update is, we had to let our drummer go, but we wish him all the best in all future.
Yeah, for real.
At least you don't have to kick anybody out. No, so like, it's just going to be
positive
promo.
stay tuned.
Yeah, it's a positive
Exactly,
stay tuned.
yeah. Unless I fire myself somehow, and I'm just like, you know what,
That's
I'm
right.
just not playing piano anymore.
I have fired my piano self, and I'm staying strictly to guitar from now on.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, Craig, we're going to ask a couple specific London questions here. Your favorite place to eat in the city? Favorite local spot?
That is gonna be, so favorite place to eat for my own enjoyment of the food is got to be Hanada Sushi House. I love sushi so much. For favorite like restaurant, for like a date, I would say Prince Al's, because I'm very basic. I'm very traditional that way. It's fantastic.
Prince Al's is classic,
Yeah.
though.
You
It's a
can go there.
classic.
My classic. If they're hungry, I'll order some fries or whatever. But you can go in there and you can order a water, a vanilla Coke, and a coffee, and they won't complain. As long as you
Yeah.
tip them like $5, you just all
Get all the
liquid diet
drinks.
really quick. Yeah, real quick, and then you can go about your day.
Or confuse your date by getting a Wally burger, and then they're like, "What's on there?" It's like peanut butter
I've
butter
done
all
that.
over my burger.
I've done that, and I thought they were going to be understanding, and did not understand. It's like,
No.
"There's peanut butter on the burger," and I was like, yeah. And then not only was I was like, yeah, I'm going to try to introduce them to this weird food that's I think is amazing, right? But not only did they not get it, but then as soon as it showed up, I was like, why did I order this massive, messy burger on a literally
date,
first
yeah.
date? First date. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a bad idea. And she's not even impressed, not even a
Great
little.
first impression for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like,
my finest moment.
she'll think it's so cool, man, and then that'll be like a conversation point. But she looks at us like, that is
Gross.
not what I'm into at all.
Tastes a lot better than it looks, everybody.
Yeah, really good though.
Very good.
All right. What would you say is your favorite place to play a show and your favorite place to watch a show? Because I know those have different.
Ooh. Yeah. That's a hard one because there's so many venues that came and went too. I feel like the Blackshire would have incorporated in there somehow. I really liked watching shows at the Blackshire, but Yeah, like
You can
venues
just
are-
say your house, Craig.
I would
You can
love
just say
to.
your house, you know.
I would love to say my house, but like honestly, like I liked playing here. The DIY show was tons of fun, mostly because I got to play dress up pretty much. I wore like this gold vinyl leather jacket and
Oh,
like
so cool.
and a bullet belt and stuff. That was tons of fun. But yeah, like I'm not even that wild about playing. I feel almost guilty when I play here. And then watching shows, like I also can't watch a show here without being like, who's watching the door? Like,
So
how
you're
many
kind of
people are
working.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you're working,
Am I in the
right?
way of anyone? That kind
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly. But like current existing venues, I'd have to say my favorite venue to play is called The Office, just because it's hot and it's sweaty and it's it's like I think the stage sound is pretty good.
It is.
Yeah,
And Shiraz is
I
an
usually
incredible
have a
sound
pretty
person
good
too.
mix, but I'm very not picky as a bass player. As a singer, it's difficult at Call the Office, I have to say. But I
yeah.
love that stage, and I love the energy that you always get. Like it's such a consistent energy every time you go there. But going to see a show, I think I want to say music hall, but the beers are so expensive. I'd say Rum Runners.
Oh.
Rum Runners is a good one. It's such a, it's such a, it's just
I was
such
gonna
a
say the
neutral-
beer's the same amount there.
No, it's not. It's like it's
Yeah,
it's-
I'm pretty sure it's still
It's
like
exact
$10 a
same.
beer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Maybe I could just get shitty beer. I don't know. But
Maybe you know some people there. You played there
Yeah.
enough times. You're just getting the deal.
People giving you a discount.
Maybe, yeah. Go straight edge, and then you don't have to worry about the beer prices.
Yeah.
There you go. You walk by Brandon 80, just go like he just like points at people. He goes like, "Hey, this guy. All right, get him whatever he wants."
Yeah,
$2 off.
on a silver platter. Yeah, you got any more drink tickets?
Yeah. Oh my God. Please, that's how you can pay me. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Well, those are some pretty good choices, I'd have to say. It's tough to choose right now for watching places,
Yeah.
for watching shows.
It's been so long since I've done either that it's kind of hard to think. But I mean, those are the ones that I've frequented so much because, like, when I was doing the hired gig. Actually, you know what? I have to say, I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Social Bowl Palisade. Playing there is awesome. So any bands that once this whole thing kind of goes over, try to play at Social Bowl, because also if you're like an indie pop band or something like that, please film your music video there. It's a bowling alley, guys. Like,
Yeah,
it's sick.
you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What a great setting. And I mean, it's tons of fun to play there. They're very they're very accommodating. You get a free burger or whatever whenever you play there. It's awesome.
All right. Good to
I'll
know.
let-
That's
I got lost in thought there in the idea of playing a music video there, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're right. It's so
Oh, yeah,
incredible.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the bowling balls go underneath the stage. It's genius. It's all there.
I have to say, the first time I played there, and so I was playing bass with Serena, and I was like, I don't even think we were starting the show yet. We were just doing like a check or whatever, and it's like I'm just going like boom, boom. I just hear like, grrr, and I like freaked out. Did my bass cab just like fall over? And it was like, no, just someone got a strike.
Oh my gosh, yeah, got to deal with that sound. Like that's got to be tough being the drummer. You're just like, what the hell was that noise? You know?
Completely throws you off. It doesn't deter Mark whatsoever, like as a pro.
Oh yeah,
It definitely freaked me out at the first time.
yeah. Serena's got quite the band going right now.
She's got a lot of great options, that's for sure. Because I mean, like I feel like I've played a handsome amount of gigs with her, and I've seen, like, because it's not that she has like favorites or whatever. It's that people are unavailable. Like she has Connor Morand and Josh Try are very regular guitar players of hers, and I love playing with both of them because they're both great guitar players, but they're both incredible singers as well. Like incredible singers. And then Mark is almost always playing drums whenever I've played with her. Yeah, she's got like a great selection of musicians that wind up playing with her on the regular, and it's a privilege to play with her when she's got that whole band because they're all such great guys.
Love it. And you played for some of your biggest audiences with Serena too, right? You played Trackside Fest.
Yeah, Trackside was a trip because I had no idea what it was going into it. Because like you actually brought me into that. Shout out to our very own Patrick Briggs.
Well, I should say, like a very funny connection all of a sudden was made. You realized you have family that you didn't know you had,
Yeah,
right?
I actually didn't know Serena at all, and you said, "Hey, my family friend Serena needs a bass player for this Trackside Fest." Which, you know, when I hear like blah 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 fest in London, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be at 765, and there's gonna be 12 bands on 2 stages, whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I've never heard of Trackside Festival, so I said, yeah, sure. And I showed up, and we ripped one rehearsal, and then you hurt your wrist, so you had to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, I'm so clumsy
with
all the
me.
time.
You were swimming and dove into a shallow
Oh
pool.
my god, I forgot about that. It wasn't a shallow pool. I just dove so deep into the pool that I hit the
just
bottom.
dove-
That's all.
You dove so well.
That's right.
So
I
aerodynamically.
you can't handle some water can't handle my
It was
I
so
just
fast.
like a dart
God.
just
Honestly,
and then I
didn't even-
busted my hand like ridiculous.
All
Remember
the
getting
wa-
it.
You shot into the water at such a rapid speed that all the water evaporated, and you just hit the bottom of the pool.
Oh, and then I come out and I'm like, I really hurt my hand, and everybody's going like, "You're fine." Of course, like everything, you're fine, you're fine.
Yeah, well, we
you'd
were
be
like-
screaming, you'd be this or that, like.
Well, we just like hardly believed that you hit the bottom because like we'd all been diving into the pool all day, and you were like, "Guys, I like smoked the bottom of the pool," and we're like, "Nah, you didn't."
It was my first dive too. Like the whole thing about that. I'm sorry, this is a weird tangent, people. But like the whole thing was so funny because I was gonna go somewhere that evening, and I remember calling my partner Jill, being like, "I'm just gonna go jump in the pool. Everybody's there. I'm just gonna dive in, then I'll be right there." And I dove in the first dive. I did just like, all right, here I go, and then smoked the bottom.
One hit KO.
Break my hand. Well, it wasn't that bad, but I did break my hand. So I couldn't play Trackside Fest, but Craig did,
Yeah,
and
so
it turned out to be pretty huge.
Yeah, so I wound up doing like 2 more rehearsals, and that was when Connor came in. And so this is I've told this story to so many people, but it's so funny. So I went over to my grandmother's house, and a side note about my grandmother, she doesn't even know who Aerosmith is, guys.
That's
So,
crazy.
right? Like I literally was like, yeah, you know Steven Tyler? And she's like, you mean the guy from American Idol? And I'm like,
Oh,
no. Like, yeah, but
Yeah,
no. Oh my God. So I go over to her. She needed some help gardening. She's very old. So I went over and I was helping her garden, and I said, I'm playing Trackside Festival with Serena Haggerty. At this point, I think I found out what Trackside Festival was, and I was like, oh my God, this is like a big country festival. That's wild. So my grandma said, what are you up to? I said, I'm playing Trackside Festival with Serena Haggerty. And she goes, oh yeah? Like she knows what I'm talking about. And I went, oh, you know what Trackside Festival is? What a miracle, because you don't even know who Steven Tyler is, right? And she goes, no. And I was like, what, do you know who Serena Haggerty is? She goes, of course I do. She's your cousin. And I went, what?
What?
Like, what are you talking about? She goes, well, you know my sister Betty. And I went, no, I don't know your sister Betty. Who is Betty? It's like, well, that's Serena's grandmother, and that's my sister. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? So then I show up at the next practice. I went, want to hear something crazy? We're family. Can't fire me now.
Yeah, right. March
it's
is
been
like,
a-
oh, you're hooked. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, 100%. So it's been a wonderful professional business ever since. It's been incredible. But no, I've been loving it. It's like all of her gigs are so much fun. Her songs are great, and like I said, she always has an incredible band behind her. So it's always a privilege to play with her.
You know, Serena is super talented, and it is great to see you performing together. Not only family members, but also just incredible musicians.
So we're gonna finish off with a game. So it's
Okay.
called This or That. So we're
All
gonna
right.
give you 2 options that are in London, and you got to choose quickly.
Gotcha.
Don't think.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
answer.
Okay.
So-
Rapid fire.
Yeah. Covent Garden Market or Western Fair Market?
Western Fair Market.
All right, OEV or Wortley Village?
OEV all the way, baby. Gotta represent.
House show or a venue show?
House show. Gotta represent.
Prince Albert's or Stobie's?
Prince L's, dude. Prince L's. Just don't get the Wally Burger when you're on your first date. That's my only piece of advice.
And Masonville or White Oaks?
Ooh, I definitely had a lot of mall rat times at the White Oaks Mall.
Mm-hmm.
but Masonville's got way more good stuff. I'm gonna say White Oaks just to reinforce my childhood.
Love it. That's the same for us. Like we were Masonville kids, like mall rats.
Mall rats.
Totally.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. That would have been a way more fun mall to be a mall rat at.
Well,
there's
there
the
was
movie
lots
theater.
to do.
True.
I mean,
But,
now it would be amazing because there's a venue and like an arcade and stuff.
that is so true. God, these kids.
So lucky.
They don't know what they have.
They don't know.
Well, Craig Gignac, you are one of my best pals, and just like a truly pleasure for us to have you here. You're a joy of a human being, and we are so happy that you would take the time to speak with us. If you want to do one more quick, like, hey, this is what I'm up to right now, everybody can check out. Otherwise, we're just like super stoked that you got to take some time with us here today.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I gotta say thanks so much for having me. It's so great to see both of you. I mean, yeah, I've just been kind of cooped up in this house or going to work, so it's great to interact with people again. Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at craig.gignac because my uncle Craig stole the OG handle, which really sucks. But yeah, Craig Gignac on Instagram. I do Facebook live streams all the time. I'll actually be doing a live stream with Serena this week, but I don't know if this will be out by then, which is fine. But I mean, yeah, I do the live streams all the time, and look out for my new song that'll be coming out whenever. It's gonna be called "The Way Things Used to Be," and it'll be on all platforms when it comes out. So check that out, and also check out Heart Attack Kids, y'all. Come on.
Come on.
And your DIY orchestra single is still
And, yeah,
fire.
orchestra. It's still up, yeah. And Liam, so I touched on it for a quick second, but yeah, Liam is off in New Zealand right now. But when he comes back, we have full intention of doing that. And Radio Caroline, we played one show last year, so that might even happen. Who knows?
Anything to
never
get
know.
you on stage, man. Anything to get you in those outfits. I want the tight pants, the tight leather pants, and the golden
100%.
jacket. That's what I need, all right?
I still got him, baby.
Well, Craig,
Thank you very much.
I've been saying your name wrong my whole life.
Gignac.
Gignac.
Craig Gignac, everybody.
Craig Gignac, thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate it. Love you, man.
Love you guys, too. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Wicked.
Have a good day.
Take her easy. See you guys.
Yeah.